November the 18th, 2016. And the leaves are still on the trees. It's 75 degrees Fahrenheit today. And back around 1961, 62, my grandfather, he commented on how the winter was so warm that the wild onions stayed green all winter. He started noticing the changes in the climate back then. It's like 55 years later or something like that. The world is out of balance. The code of the warrior is to walk in balance with honor and respect to all his relations. It's a path of the heart. The warrior has to be in touch with his heart in order to be a good warrior. We learn to be in touch with our heart through the discipline of poetry. A good warrior can write good poetry. Poetry that comes from the heart. During the first Yellow Buffalo survival tape, I talked about the seventh challenge of a turkey medicine man. Turkey medicine man. Medicine man is a warrior. His battle is with the darkness. His battle is to bring things back into balance that are out of balance through the various disciplines that are available. And each of the five disciplines addresses each of the five challenges addresses one of those disciplines. Number 6, the challenge is to be able to respond to any request for healing. To be able to access the information needed to be able to respond to that request. And there's several ways to check in and get that information. And of those, there's several that if that information is available, is known already, then it can be accessed without any more effort. Just be able to access that information in some way. But if that information is not available, then the next thing to do is to make an effort to gain access to what I call the cave of infinite knowledge. And it's one of those difficult places to go. It's guarded by women who are not real keen on us coming around to their cave. So they put them into the test. There's a famous incident with this Tibetan Buddhist called Naropa. Naropa, he approached the cave, and the woman accosted him and hung him upside down for like 9 days. After 9 days, they decided he was all right. Probably smelled a little funny. But they said, well, you got this much time in the cave, and he went into the cave and, gleaned all he could. Maybe he had some writing materials and wrote down some information and started a whole new school within Tibetan Buddhism from what he gathered. So it's one example of what we could do when we gain access to the Cave of Infinite Knowledge. It has its own name and various traditions. That's just the name that I've given it. So that was one of the things that I was able to do, was to gain access, and I don't recall getting hung upside down for 9 days or anything like that. However I managed to do it, I did it. But, there were several requests, sugar diabetes, HIV, and hepatitis C. A lot of medicine men have tried to respond to requests and have failed, and those that I responded to were successful. But that information, the basic information, was acquired through that access. So after I completed the 7th challenge, I had a dream, and I was at this barn and this, farm environment, and I could tell that, okay, over there's where the cave is, and sort of like there's some trees and stuff nearby, and I was kind of nervous, I'm kind of hiding, because I'm like, you don't always get a good reception, so I'm like kind of nervous. But the women were in there having counsel, and they came out, and the main one, she approached me, and I'm like, oh man, did I mess up this time? What happened? And she came over and said, we had counsel, and we've approved you have an unlimited access to the Cave of Infinite Knowledge for the rest of your life. And over the past 3 or 4 years, I've had many dreams of being inside the cave, and at one point several years ago, I was entering into the 3rd room of the cave, and put some pigment on my hand and marked the wall of the cave that I was in there, and I'm the first living person, first living human being to have access to the 3rd room, and it's way different from the other 2, and a lot of my paintings have since then I've integrated have a dream and then use that information into the paintings. So by using by painting this information instead of writing it down, it's available for many generations after me, that they can go and look at these paintings and meditate and access the information that's been embedded in the paintings through my artwork. And but I think that when you spend time in the cave, I think you age faster than you do out here in the rest of the world. So kind of like aged 20 years here in the past couple of years. I'm starting to look like an old man. Yeah, and but that's what happens. So I requested, like, okay, I just need to take a break from going into the cave because, I'm getting old really fast and I got other things to do. And, I could still glean from the information that I've accessed through Dreamtime and put that into the paintings and continue to do the artwork. But I don't necessarily have to be in the cave all that much anymore. So, but anyway, I put an extra glass, a magnifying glass in front of the iPhone and the camera, and be able to get in and do some real close-up and look at some of the stuff that's in the painting, because, this is kind of what it's like in that cave. It's like it's a very different landscape and reality in there. And so let's look at that next and listen to a poem at the same time. That'd be cool, right? Okay. The searing rock and roll red spurt of paint across the canvas, of blood in a childhood fight, the sensitive crying after cutting down the tree, the hurt. Birds flicker in and out of reality, their meaning mystical. Barren lenticular clouds hover over, waves of energy well up between the wall and the catatonic. Birds rise up. The stir of magic as the planets align. The rush of madness as the myth explodes. Full moon energy spurts red across the universe. It's always a full moon somewhere, and it's always changing rapidly. Breakfast tea collides with midnight visions brought on by wells of energy. Facing a new day, burn out from sitting in the crystal ray. Wishing I could do more than dream. Aho. February 23rd, 1980, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.